summer skies, because technically summer is not over. No matter what you see at the stores, no matter if the kids are going back to school, summer is still here for at least another whole month, and I was not ready to go vampy anything. This was my last set. It lasted a very long. As you can see, my vibe is like peachy, orangey, holographic, iridescent, a little bit of gold. So I had not had time to do my nails in 6 weeks. So this last set of nails that you just saw lasted 6 weeks, and today we're just going to be changing it up, doing some variation of me, which is again peachy, holographic, all of that. So structure soft gels, what I use, what we use in this channel, what I specialize, what I have been specializing in for like 10 years. You will see no pH bonder, no bonder of any kind, a primer, just minimal edge prep, and boom, you have a set of nails that's lasts very long. And here it is. So let's dive in. I don't want to hold you up. Hey there and welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Paola of PaolaPonceNails.com, your source for all things premium soft gels and entrepreneurship in the nail industry. If this sounds like a niche you'd like to continue growing in, then at the end of this video, do consider subscribing to this channel and our weekly newsletter. Let's begin. First things first, you want to grab a tool that is going to allow you to release the metal embellishments, because you don't want to file right over those embellishments with your tool, whether that's a carbide or in this case I'm using a medium ceramic bit, because you can make those teeth of that little e-bit break off or wear down, and then your e-filing is not going to be even, and we always want to remove evenly. As you can see here, my strokes are flat so that e-bit is pretty parallel to the nail. After I've loosened them up a little bit, just around, not over, I'm able to thin the gel around and go ahead and pry them off essentially with a nipper that you don't use for cuticle work, because obviously you can break it, damage it, it could lose its sharpness. Next, you know me, ceramic bits is what we use here. And here you see the ceramic bit has a blue and red band. That means that the ceramic is actually like a fine medium, which is essentially perfect for what I'm doing right here, because soft gel removes very easy. So I don't want to go over with anything, stronger or coarser than this. I like to remove in long vertical strokes so that I can remove evenly. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that through all of the nails. So again, this is a fine medium ceramic bit. You can find it at Nashlynails. You can also just use a fine if you want to, or a medium. Now there is a little bit of a difference between a barrel and a pointed ceramic, or there's a reason why I like to use one over the others. So you saw me filing side to side, and that's when I like to use a barrel. But once I'm going to start getting into the sides of the nail, I like to switch it up to a pointed bit, because then that allows me to get there a little bit more precise and with less effort. Next, I want to grab a lint-free towelette. Now these aren't necessarily lint-free, these are dental gauges. I can link you down below. I get them from a dental source, but you can also find them on Amazon. And when you wet this with alcohol, that's when it becomes lint-free. So I highly recommend that if you want to save some money and not splurge on literal lint-free wipes for the nail industry, which can add up, you just use these, wet them, and they become lint-free. Okay, now it's time to move to our prep. So for our prep, what we want to do is use a cuticle pusher. I'm using a very specific one by a brand called Stalix. And this pusher is actually sharpened on both ends. So it's not just like a dull pusher where you're just pushing, the eponychium or the skin around the nail. The sharpness of this tool allows you to actually separate the eponychium from the cuticle. So here in the US, what we call the cuticle is the dry skin touching the nail plate, not any hangnails or any like scraggly sticking off of that cuticle area. That's not cuticle in our industry, that's eponychium. All right, so then I take the other end of the cuticle pusher, which is also sharpened, and I use that to release as much as possible, or sweep out, if I can say it that way. I guess I can just say scrape the cuticle. Again, cuticle is on the nail plate. So that's what I'm doing here. And I think about this, like if you were vacuuming your home, sometimes you may or may not take a broom to the corners or the sides of your home, right? But I personally like to do that, right? To release all of that dirt around the walls or in corners or tucked anywhere. That way, when I come over with my vacuum, it's so easy. So that's sort of the same principle with that cuticle pusher and using that other end. Again, I'll link you to the one I use because it is sharpened on both sides, very high quality nipper from a brand by the name of Stalex. All right, it's time for the fun step, that overlay. And for this process, it is detailed and it's a structured gel overlay. Now, here's what you have to know. You're probably like, well, I kind of see what you're doing. I got it. But the thing is that there are different viscosity gels out there and you have to pick a brand because that brand is going to provide you with different viscosities. And when they do that, you can choose the viscosity for the correct length. And this is something that I teach you inside the Master Gel Nails course, which is my full gel nail application course. So you're going to learn about viscosities and why that is important for the particular shape of nails that you are working on. Okay. Very important. Not all gel is the same and it goes on any length nails. As a matter of fact, the gel that I was wearing prior, so that tinted structure gel, I wore it for 6 weeks. My nails grew a lot. And because it was not the correct gel for that length of nail, because it had grown, the nails had grown by now, actually you can see there's like flex marks or bent marks on my nails, like right there in that center of that nail. That's because that nail was no longer supported by that gel. So really, if I was gonna go that long, and if I'm talking to my nail tech about this and planning to go very long with my nails or not see her in about 6 weeks, then I need her to use something more reinforced or that's going to provide more reinforcements. In this case, it is my potted soft gel, which I'm using here, my potted soft gel builder, which is going to provide the strength. Again, I go over this in detail because quite frankly, guys, sometimes we oversimplify the process of gel nails. I promise you, it's not that easy. I promise you, I've been in this for 10 years and it's not super complex either, but there is obviously some science, right? Some pro understanding that goes into it. So I'm willing to share again my salon method via my MGN course. Check it out using the link below. So what I'm doing here now, at this point, I've already applied a base. I cured that and I'm using a wet layer. And on this wet layer, what I'm going to do is actually start self-leveling my potted soft gel builder. Takes a little bit more technique, a little more finesse to get used to a potted soft gel builder, but I promise you it's worth it, especially if you or your client, if you're pro, are going longer with nails. You want that reinforcement. Had I gone 6 weeks with potted soft gel builder and not just like a bottled or a tinted bottled builder like I did in my previous set that you saw earlier on, my nails wouldn't have flexed that much. So now I have a little bit of weakness in my nails, so I have to go shorter in order so that those nails don't flex too much. Okay, so just give it a go. If you haven't tried potted soft gel builder and you're only relying on a bottled builder for you or your clients, I'm telling you, you haven't seen it all. You can definitely benefit from potted soft gel. How you structure the nails is also up to you. Right here, I'm using more of a zigzag or a side sweep, a side to side thing. But I actually have 3 methods of building the nail, and I call them in my course build 0, build 1, and build 2. And yes, you bet, they have to do with the length of the nails. So here for me, I have about a medium to long length nail, and so I'm using this particular method to fit this particular length of nails. All right, and again, this is so that you get the best support for the nails. Otherwise, you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna be like, why are my nails bending? Why are my nails tearing on the side? Why is this gel not strong enough? I need to go find another one. And then you start trialing and erroring with so many different brands until you kind of find a mix, right? You do your own R&D and you're like, all right, these products work for me together, right? And I would like you to use at least, or I should say no more than like 2 brands and really master those. So here we are, here's our structured overlay. By the way, I haven't actually finished filed the nails. I like to do that after. And now I'm going to move on to my nail art, which is that ombre gradient that we'll be doing. So I didn't show you here, but actually the color that I'm using, in case you're curious, is by Nail Thoughts. It's number 11, Isla Vista. The brush that I'm using here also, which I am so rude, so sorry, didn't mention it. I thought I showcased it, but maybe it was on my reel that I showcased the brush. So this is a gradation brush by Leafgel. And you might be saying, do I really need a gradation brush? Well, there's a trick to doing gradient nails with brush and colors, gel colors. And that is to use very, very minimal amount of color. And when you do, like you see here in my pinky, and when you use this brush, like the gradation happens on its own. Now, I am going to, I guess, technically cheat a little bit and not use only the gradation brush, which I could, but it's on my own nails. It gets a little difficult and I don't want to be frustrated trying to find the perfect blend. But do you see how if I tap that area, it sort of starts fading a little bit? That's the whole point. So with a little patience, with a little bit more technique and finesse, like if I was working on a client, I can definitely use my gradation brush and take it layer by layer. But because it's DIY, I'm doing this on myself. I want to get through this process like quick. I'm going to be cheating with a little sponge. And the sponge does matter. It's a makeup sponge, as you may already know or have seen. And it shouldn't be too porous. Like it shouldn't have all these little holes in it. It should be like a soft makeup sponge. You just tap it a little bit and it's gonna give you a beautiful gradation or gradient. So these are from a brand, Mythmilo, I think. It's a Korean brand, Mythmilo. I get them from Zillabeau, but you can also buy these at the like a pharmacy, like Walgreens, Target, anything like that. But here you get them already like pre-cut, and they are like the right sponge. So that's one thing that you don't have to worry about. Like, did I get the right one? Is this the one or whatnot? Use the side with a little bit more pores. I was using the side that was a little bit more smooth. The gradation is so beautiful, like that gradient effect. All right, here we are 3 coats later. Every time you do a coat, you want to do half less the amount that you did last time. Then the chrome base gel that you use, so this chrome base gel that I use is very, very important. It has to be a designated chrome gel, or one that has been tried and true for a chrome gel, and one that is not necessarily temperamental. So there are some gels, for example, I can use my Kokoist Ultra Glossy Non-Wipe Top Gel, and I would have to be very precise about the amount of seconds that I cure it for, or my chrome doesn't stick to it. But with this gel, if you use a designated chrome gel, usually as long as you cure it at least 30 seconds, even like at least 20 seconds, but let's just say 30 seconds because that's more of a standard measure, your chrome is going to last. If you over cure it, like go 45 or 60, your chrome is still going to apply. Whereas there's other top gels that you can kind of test, and you can, if you have a non-wipe top gel, test it, but you have to find the time. Is it 10 seconds, 15 seconds where the time where the chrome sticks to it? So I don't like to fiddle with all of that. I try to always use a recommended chrome base gel, as this one here. And again, me being rude here, this one is the Fgel, so literally like an Fgel Clear Builder. Okay, and you can use it as a structure. You can use it as a structure gel, but I don't. I use it just for the chrome effect. So products are very important with chrome. Why? Your chrome pigment is very important, where you get it from. If it's a good quality pigment, if it's very fine, all of that matters. So I'm using here one called Bali Sunset. I don't know why I can't say that right. And it is from the company Icegel. Again, I'll link you down below to where I get mine. And you only get a teeny tiny bit amount because it does go a long way. So when you get yours, if you order it, you might feel a little ripped off. I promise you're fine. It goes a long way. So once you've applied it very, very smooth, it has to be super smooth. So if your nails are not smooth right now, use this gel to smooth them out just a tiny bit. Use the viscosity of it. Go ahead and cure it, 30 seconds, and here it is. This is our main player, the Bali Sunset Chrome Gel, Chrome Powder from Icegel. Actually, that's a lot of powder. As you can see, I'm going to tap some off because I realized that, like, whoa, that's a lot. When you are using this, make sure you're using goggles or that you are using a dust collector, because it is so fine that it doesn't get weighed down by gravity. It will go airborne if you use a little too much, which is another reason why you want to use just the amount of powder necessary. All right, I like to tap it in a little bit. Try to do this right away after the nails have come out from the curing unit. If you're working on a client, please let them know that at this point, as soon as the nails come out of the light, they need to make it to your hand so that you can go ahead and apply this pigment. Go ahead and take a bigger sponge. Sometimes you can do it with gloves, with your glove too, but depending on the glove, it might rub some of the pigment off. But take a bigger sponge and then rub that powder thin into that clear builder gel. This is going to make it very reflective, which you want, and it's also going to ensure that you don't leave too much, if any, loose pigment that then gets caught on your brush when you are sealing it, right? And to seal it, we're just going to do a thin coat of, you can do base gel and then top coat, or you can do a top coat that you know for sure works with chrome. I also like to give it a brush with this very soft bristle brush, very soft, so nothing abrasive. This one is from Kokoist. And yeah, just get rid of any little loose particles so that you don't brush them through, because that's also going to affect the chrome effect. Here we are. And I mean, don't they look stunning? Now you could have stopped here, right? You could have rocked this look, but I was like, we are doing something else with these. Couldn't control myself. I had to go ahead and reach for my Twinkle decals. These are from Amazon, and I will link you to the particular ones in my Amazon store. Again, just underneath this video, you'll see the description. Click the 3 dots if you don't see the full description, and you'll see all the links of things that we use today or the places where you can shop them. All right, so from here, you decide how much, how many, and where. Personally, I like to keep things balanced and very few. So I'll just let you watch my placement. Maybe you'll like it. And then after we are happy with placing them wherever we want to, we are going to seal them with base gel. This tool that I'm using to pick up the stickers is so nifty, because then I can flip it over and use that silicone part of it to press the sticker down. You don't want to use your fingertips, because your fingertips have oil and you are going to rub that oil onto those nails, and then your top coat is going to be doing all sorts of funky things and maybe even like cratering and all, and you just obviously don't want that, which is why I haven't taken my glove off. On the other hand, as you can see here, I'm trimming the decals to like make them even less obnoxious, if that's even a thing for these nails. It's just, I went a lot on the nails, right? Like we did gradient and then we did chrome and now we're doing stickers. Like I want all of that, but we also want to keep control, right? So I thought like, hey, how about if we put just half stars or half twinkle stars on some of the nails? So that's what I did. You want to be super precise when you're cutting those stickers, or they will stick out and then lift. As you can see, I sealed them a little bit with base coat, just very thin amount of base coat so that the stickers stay sealed. Now what I'm going to do, I know I'm on my 4th extra thing, is just pop a little crystal on 2 of them. Just it. That's it. Just 2 nails. That's it. Nothing crazy. And then once I've done that, you can either adhere them with a builder, which I did, or you can go ahead and use a charm gel, which I actually recommend a charm gel better. So all of the stickers at this point have been sealed with base coat, just kind of almost like wiped with the base brush, barely any gel. And then I didn't do my base gel on the entirety of the nail. Now I'm going to come in with my top coat and just seal this in. Now, if I'm using a very quality pigment, like a chrome pigment, and if I just move on to my base coat at this point, I should not incur any chipping from that chrome, especially because it was so thin, it was such a small amount. So again, it's very important where you get your chrome. Everything I use today, you'll have links to down below. And I usually like to work with brands that I've used for a very long time so that you can trust, and so that I can also get a discount code for you as an affiliate. All right, here they are. Aren't they fabulous? We are not ready for the fall here. We are all summer vibes. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, would you do me a favor and give it a thumbs up to boost it up in the algorithm so that I may help more people. And if you need a little more direction in your nail journey, we're currently open for enrollment into the Roadmap course, which is a course with all of the steps to becoming and achieving success as an independent nail tech. And if you want to learn my full professional method of applying gel nails using soft gel only, check out my Master Gel Nails course, where I'll take you step by step into my exact salon application method for monthly wearing gel nails. Both courses are now open for enrollment. Learn more about them and other resources mentioned in this video in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to continue growing with me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.